Hi, I'm Dr. George Yancey. Let's shatter some paradigms. And the paradigm I want to share today concerns Christianophobia and support for sexual minorities. Now, this is an interesting dynamic of Christianophobia that I think is worth exploring. Christianophobia, as you might well know from some of my other videos, is defined as an unreasonable hatred and fear of Christians. And usually we're thinking about conservative Christians. Technically, it can be of non-conservative Christians, but usually that's where it comes out, especially in Western societies. So, why conservative Christian? Well, it can be for many reasons. There's many types of stereotypes and perceptions that may lead to this type of hatred and fear. One of which is the perception that Christians have a reputation for hating sexual minorities. Now, I'm not going to deny the data out there shows, at the very least, that conservative Christians are less supportive of sexual minorities than most other groups. So it may be that one of the reasons why people don't like conservative Christians is that they do not support sexual minorities. And there's no doubt that that's true to some extent. That some of the hatred is due to things such as this nature. But I want to think a little bit differently. So I'm acknowledging that that's one dynamic. But could it be the other way around? Could it be that people who don't like conservative Christians then go on to support sexual minorities because conservative Christians have this reputation of not liking sexual minorities? Now, you may be thinking you're stretching, but would you know that there's also research on this, looking at this from a racial perspective? Something we call symbolic racism. Symbolic racism is when people take a position on an issue due to their attitudes towards racial minority groups. A classic example: individuals might decide that they do not like immigration, and the reason why they don't like immigration is because of Hispanics. Now, why would this occur? In our society, it is not polite to not like Hispanics simply because they're Hispanics. So such individuals would not say, I don't like you because you're an Hispanic. However, what they could say is, I don't like illegal immigration. Deep down inside, they don't like Hispanics. This allows them to express that hatred in a way that's socially appropriate, socially acceptable. But that has nothing to do with their attitudes towards Hispanics. So you see, this sort of symbolism helps to hide a hatred they may have towards a certain group. This is fairly well established in the literature. What's not established is that could this apply in other types of contexts? And I think it might. It is possible that individuals who do not like conservative Christians, but no, you're not supposed to say, I don't like conservative Christians because that seems like religious bigotry. So they channel that symbolically towards support for sexual minorities. This means that sexual minorities actually gain from Christianophobia. Now, you're probably saying, that's all great speculation. Got any evidence? I actually have done some research on this. Several years ago, published an article, I'm going to put it in the description, that shows that the animosity towards conservative Christians is related to support for sexual minorities, even after controls, one of which is a control for attitudes towards sexual minorities. So it's not that, okay, I like sexual minorities, and that's why I don't like Christians. I control for that attitude. This suggests then, once again, that such minorities could benefit from the existence of Christianophobia in our society. Now, one may say, well, good, let them benefit. And that's fine. What I am saying is that Christianophobia could take forms that are not directly, I hate Christians. And we could look at other perceptions, perhaps other symbolic issues, by which Christianophobia is reflected in there. Christianophobia shapes those issues just like it may shape support for sexual minorities. Now, I want to be clear about something. When I did the data, when I looked at what we call effect sizes, what has more powerful effect, clearly positive attitudes towards sexual minorities was more important than negative attitudes towards Christians. So I don't want people leaving here thinking, oh, Dr. Yancey says people don't like sexual minorities, they just hate Christians. No, if you say that, and after hearing me say this, you're not telling the truth. I'm saying it's a factor, and it's a significant factor. Not the only factor, and not the most important factor. But it's a factor, and thus we should weigh that, consider what that means in a society where we have Christianophobia. And one of the things I've often said is that understanding Christianophobia is important because it helps us to better understand our society. And I stick by that. Does this share some paradigms? Paradigms about relationships between Christianophobia, attitude towards sexual minorities, things of this nature. Help us to see things with a little bit more nuance, a little bit more insight. Well, I hope so. And this is sort of an interesting dynamic. I hope you've enjoyed it. I try to produce other interesting dynamics such as this. And if you want to hear more about my work, subscribe. Please consider leaving a comment, positive or negative. If you like this, please consider leaving a like. Thanks. I hope you come back. We can shatter some more paradigms.